All right, hello again, everybody, and welcome back. So, I was watching Robert's 1988 inside pitch replay, but it's into extra innings, barn burner going on over there, Mets and Cardinals. But needed to get moving, and I'm gonna have a review. I've been, doing a lot of artwork and digging through my archives, and all right, Ken Castro says, all right, baseball. And I have an art piece that I did that just might be the ticket for our Robbie Wertberg, and she's beautiful. Um, Something that I created a while back, actually, and was digging through. So, kind of inspired by the thinking of that movie today, Weird Science, and I thought, well, why not? So later on, and I know cousin Ken, yeah, it was. Just we'll finish up the frivolity here first. Cousin Ken last night really liking the vampire I made. I think he's gonna like this one. This is not a vampire, but I think this one is one that Robbie will like. Anyhow, it was a great discussion last night. Hopefully, those will continue. It's one of the things I love about what we're doing here. So, what do we have on tap tonight? Just like the tin says, the 1908 Cleveland Naps versus the 1904 New York Giants, Game 1. Last night's game was crazy. Didn't expect that one. 17 innings. Really thought that the big matchup was going to be at first the Red Sox and A's, but it turned out that the Reds of 1919 and the Boston Braves of 1914 gave us a hell of a show. You and your son were chatting about the. It'd be fun to have your son on here sometime, just to even in the chat. I don't know if if he'd be into just joining in, but he's always welcome. But a good deep chat about everything. I think we veered off from baseball and talked an hour about writing and the creative process and things like that. And that's one of the things that I really hope to even get into more deeply in the other channel that I want to start. Maybe it's going to be one of these things where we might be doing some sort of specific kind of we might be doing some topic, but I'd like it to be more of a free form, kind of a Chautauqua type thing, right? Where people can kind of just get into free form conversation, nice forum. I mean, it's going to be a bit moderated, obviously, have to be, because you don't know who you're going to get. So that definitely will be coming. So yeah, coupled with a monster ball game. So the new channel right now is on its way. I'm trying to kind of figure out right now. Okay, maybe I don't want to be so crazy scattered because there has to be some branding for a channel. So, but I think the trick to that is to be if I find a cool title name for that other channel, then that leaves me free to do whatever. As I've said, this one is going to remain active, but will remain, in terms of what you see on the screen, baseball focused, except for finding for our wayward Robbie, and we miss our wayward Robbie. Um, some art images that I've created, and I think that this one tonight, she's a bit of a catch. On this one, she's a bit of a warrior chick. But yeah, really had fun with it, and I'm hoping that in the new channel, we discuss, we're gonna get all kinds of things. Again, music theory, um, you know, messing around with astronomy one night. Who knows? Maybe have some mind-bending talks about crazy things in mathematics like tree three, and then maybe the next night we'll just play a game of something. Who knows what? If I can get a couple people interested, maybe starting something like Talisman Tuesdays, playing Talisman for anybody that might have it on Steam. But I'm just kind of all over the place with it right now. Some nights getting into controversial topics like the death penalty. Um, maybe another night we're going to actually, we're going to talk politics. We're going to talk religion. But I want it to be a forum where people can be respectful. So any mods that I do pick for that, and I hope cousin Ken will consider being one of my mods. I need mods that are going to be strict and not be afraid to tell everybody, to tell somebody who's getting out of hand, either be civil or we knock you out. So hopefully, we could do that. This channel, obviously, we're a bit more loose on that, but that one could be um, kind of dangerous. Kind of dangerous. Well, thank you. Cousin Ken says he's be honored. So I have Cousin Ken as Big Clue as first moderators on that new channel when it happens. And it's going to take a while to build that community. Um, and again, I'm not in, just like that channel and this one, I'm not trying to make money from it. It's just that I feel that on a baseball channel, while we do get off into our great conversations, and I still want to continue doing that, um, I don't want to. Again, we remember that sort of brouhaha that happened. What was it last month when I'd asked for just a moment's observance for, and it's all smoothed over, for the victims of the shootings in California. It turned into something really off the rails, but I'm thinking maybe in that new one we can kind of play around with that. But anyhow, earlier tonight I was watching an interview, and they did a reveal. Basically, it was just a long interview with developer Marcus Heinsohn for Out of the Park 24. And for those of us that, and there's so much that some of us love about this very polarizing game. I realize the Out of Park franchise is very polarizing, but I think just any baseball game, and I don't whether it's cards and dice or it's digital baseball, I think you're gonna have what you love, what you don't like, and even a few that you're meh about. I mean, look at the great rivalry between Appa and Strat all these years. Both excellent baseball legends, but people will tend to come down on one side or the other on that. And I think that's the same in digital baseball. There's people that prefer out of the park baseball to this, and what have you. But one of the things that they've really concentrated on this year are graphics, animations. Really, really looking forward to that. They've improved AI. They've really worked on the historical model, historical seasons. So I'm hoping to split time between this and Out of the Park 24 for some historical ideas that we have there. Sports Time Machine. He says on a he says, so on a loud, light rail, the sound is tough. Much love, Beatles in the community. You bet, Mike. And Mike, I already sent you those two things that you were looking Discord. I sent them to you. Just again, don't unzip them. Just install them as you would. So you have them, and I hope you have a lot of fun with them in Action PC Baseball. If you can hear me through all the light rail and stuff like that, it's there waiting for you, the things you asked for. Anyhow, pretty excited about the things that Marcus was talking about. What I'm hoping is that a lot of these new enhancements that would be for currencies like StatCast, he's talking about instant replay for home runs or big plays. I'm hoping that's going to work as well in a 1913 game as it will in a 2022 game. So really, really looking forward. We are 1 week from tomorrow from the worldwide release of Out of the Park. I'm pretty sure our Red Sox fan will beat me to the punch and have a first look as the game is available on the 20th through Out of the Park Developments, but that's usually released as an released as the final stage beta. And I found for that what I usually do is just play a couple exhibition games, mess around with it, and then wait for the major release. We will have a first look at Out of the Park 24, bearing in mind that the stadium mod and everything is not going to be in there. So anything we do is going to be just looking at what the game can do and things like that. But it'd be kind of nice to see some modern baseball touches, even in the things that we do back in the day. I mean, I think it'd be kind of fun, when you have, say, Lou Gehrig stepping in there and seeing this really neat overlay diagram that you do, where Gehrig might be likely to hit the ball, things like that. Those nice little touches I'm not against because it doesn't change the game. So looking forward to that. Um, I'm going to be doing a look at Dombrov baseball, um, probably maybe after game one tomorrow night. If Midlife Crisis. I did put up the screenshots. As I said, I know it's taken me a while to get started, but we all know that. But I did send Midlife Crisis screenshots of his Philadelphia Quakers at the end of the Ned McGreevy season. So if he wants to make any adjustments, and if he gets those back to me, I'll check when I get home from work. Tomorrow night, then, will be Game 1 of the Ned McGreevy World Series, Manchester hosting Philadelphia. If not, we'll wing it. We will do, we'll do what we do here. Who do we have left? The 1907 Tigers and 1894 Baltimore Orioles, and they'll follow that with Look of Dombrov, or maybe we'll just have a baseball chat, and I'll have a game of either Diamond Mind or Baseball Mogul going on the background if it's Mogul, lower volume, while we're talking about whatever we want to talk about. So Mike says, not hearing much. The Todd B League sounds interesting. He'd really like to. It's cool to do it in action because once draft is over, you can send computer managers to see rosters. Yeah, absolutely. So I know Todd B would like to do it in out of the park baseball. I'm fine with either one. I think unless out of the park baseball changes player import, I think this is going to be something that's really going to have to be done in Action PC because that mechanism, Mike. And again, I know you're having trouble hearing, so we'll talk about it again. I think that mechanism for doing the type of draft that Todd is talking about really is kind of ready-made, ready to go, if you will, in Action PC Baseball. And fortuitously, since I own everything for this game, when that random number comes up, you're will essentially be importing players from seasons. So let's say it's Cousin Ken's term, the random number generator brings up 1905. He's got to pick a player from any team in 1905. So we're not going to use the baseball history collection for that. I would rather use stats as opposed, like those stats. So, and that's the only way we can do it with Todd's idea. I think it's brilliant. And there's World's Worst Gamer joining us tonight. Once again, always happy to see World's Worst Gamer in here. So, what else in baseball news? Digital Diamond Baseball to be released, I believe, I hope, next week. I think it would be in Mark's best interest to get his release out with the Out of the Park 24 release being imminent. He needs to really jump on it. In fact, Mark really should release maybe a day or two before Out of the Park Baseball because that one's going to steal all the thunder on Steam. And I think largely throughout not only our community, but I think largely in the sports gaming world, the two big things are Out of the Park Baseball and MLB The Show in terms of baseball. So maybe Mark, with some good marketing sense, will get Digital Diamond out there a little earlier. Okay, Mike can hear a little bit. He can hear a little bit more now, and he says he'll get Out of the Park. Will it matter if it's? He will get it. So I mean, if you get it, the only thing is, Mike, is it's just gonna you have to wait till all the modders get in there, then with like stadium mods and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I'm picking it up. Definitely, I've bought it every year since the first iteration, and there were a couple sort of outlier products that they did back in the day. There was a season ticket baseball that was actually Out of the Park Baseball, but that's when it was produced by Sega. So I love, love, love Out of the Park Baseball, and I cannot wait for next Friday. I really cannot. In fact, I'm thinking for the next weekend, if I'm seeing my girlfriend this weekend, if I don't get to see her next weekend, dudes, be ready for a hell of a lot of baseball on Saturday, because we're just going to go nuts and play some Out of the Park 24. It's going to be fun. But with Todd's draft, Mike, if you're hearing a little better, it's going to be better, easier to do in Action PC Baseball. Because that's there, and we'll see what people are into. It's really Todd's idea, and I know, again, he really wants to do it in Out of the Park Baseball. I just don't see how we can do that without it being terribly labor intensive. But then again, we don't know. Maybe they've changed the player import model in Out of the Park, and if they did, we're off to the races. And I'm hoping they did, because it's a great game. I really don't keep up with what's coming up with cards and dice. I know that Stratomatic Cards and Dice, they tend to be a lot more focused in terms of getting things out there on YouTube, and I know that they're kind of doing some interesting things. So for those of you that play Strat, Cards and Dice, you have some things I think to be excited about. Appa, somebody needs to light a fire under their ass because they're focused on out of the park or on Appa Go, but also they need to follow Strat's lead and get some YouTube videos up there about what they're releasing, what they're doing. And I don't know what they're doing down there in Alpharetta, Georgia, but they're not promoting their product. And so I wish I had some more cards and dice news for you guys, but I really, really don't. Maybe you guys who play, you do. And if you do, put it in the chat, because we get a lot of cards and dice guys in here. Not as much as the other channels, but we do. World's Gamer says, not much. Refused an invitation to St. Patrick's Day dinner tomorrow. My heart was in the right place in doing it, but not sure I would have done it. All right, well, you're still going to have a scone and some Irish stew. Good for you, man. So, slancha, Edingo Brak, and Shakir La, as we say in Irish. Edingo Brak being the most important of those, and slancha, so cheers. All right, so I guess we're going to get started here and play some baseball. And the 1908 Cleveland Naps will visit the 1904 New York Giants. I've picked a Polo Grounds, but I haven't set the players yet, so we'll get into it. I hope this is going to be a fun one. Last night was crazy. What a crazy game. So let's get into it. And we're always going to have the computer managing the visiting team, and I largely let it manage the home team unless it's pitchers, what have you. So here we go. All right. If Ken Castro, hey, there's Robbie. Robbie got something special to show you. Later, we've missed you, my friend. I've been creating some artwork and going back in my archives. The guys last night saw a dragon that I did and a female vampire, but I found an art piece I created. But you got to wait till the end of the game to see her. I think I found your ideal woman. Now we just got to find her. Anyhow, we missed you these past few nights. Everybody's been asking about you. If Cousin Ken will do the honors of selecting the starting pitcher for the 1904 New York Giants, the Giants will be facing Addie Joss. So we've got McGinnity, Mathewson, Ames, Dummy Taylor, and Hooks Wiltsey as possible starters. McGinnity with the best ERA, Christy Mathewson with the best win-loss record. Mathewson also the most strikeouts per 9. So it's showing McGinnity here would be the starting pitcher. But okay, so we're going to go with Joe McGinnity. All right, we're going to just let the computer then generate the lineup. All right, so we have. I think it's going to be a good team. One of your favorite players in there, Bad Bill Dolan. So we're going to have Mertes, Devlin, Bresnahan, McGann, Brown, Dolan, Gilbert, Bowerman, and McGinnity. And so far, it looks like we've only found one duplicate player, and that's Johnny Evers. So doing pretty good so far, although now I'm looking here at Billy Gilbert. We may have two. Unavoidable in the short span of years that we're doing, so we're going to have some, but such a big player like Willie Keeler, just couldn't have him on 3 teams simultaneously. That would have been weird. Donlin not getting it's starting Sam Mertes in left, and which is a curious choice in a way, only because I guess I'm a Mike Donlin fan. But Donlin, of course, Donlin not as much playing time. I can see why. So let's go with it. Yep, March Madness has been going on. Robbie says. Yep. All right, cool. All right, here we go. This should be a good matchup. Addie Joss and Iron Man Joe McGinnity. I may have to set the players in Polo Grounds. Let's get to it. There's not going to be a national anthem for some reason in the playoffs. It doesn't do it. Everything I think looks good here, except I've got to change this play-by-play box. I will give props to another prop to Out of the Park Baseball. You don't have to keep doing this. But let me see. Play-by-play, pitcher, batter. Let me see if this is a little better. No, it's not. Sorry, guys. Medium, medium. I don't need large. I want this to be... But if it's too small, then I can't. Well, actually, that's a little better. Let me see what small does. All right, that might be good enough. And let me check the ballpark layout, make sure things look good. And we don't need a bullpen. Jeez. And then we'll go to it. Robbie, you missed a great game last night on this channel. Wow, nobody was expecting that at all. All right, looks like we're ready to go. So the 1904 Giants, of course, as you guys know, winning the National League pennant. John McGraw refused to play in the World Series. Relented the next year, 1905, when he realized that his players lost money. They didn't get their cut. And you know, one thing that can be said about John McGraw, he was always good, always fair to his players. The 1908 Cleveland Naps. Again, Cleveland, one of those franchises that, when we're talking about the early years of baseball, and especially the dead ball era, because we could have picked a Cleveland Spiders team. They were pretty damn fine in the 1890s, except for 1899. But this was a franchise that had a lot of lean years, and so it was really hard to find a Cleveland team that fit within this era. But we did find the 1908 Cleveland Naps, who had a very good year. They did not finish first, but still a very, very strong record. So we're going to pit them against the New York Giants. We're in round one. This is our third matchup. And let's do it. So looking at the starting defense, we'll start from the infield and go to the outfield. At first base, Dan McGann. At second, Billy Gilbert. And we did see Billy Gilbert last night, so we do have a little bit of player duplication. Bad Bill Dolan. Look at this guy. Take a moment. Look at that face. This is a guy that's not going to take any crap from anybody. At third base, Art Devlin. In left field, Sam Mertes. In center field, Roger Bresnahan, the Duke of Tralee. And right field, George Brown. And catching today will be Frank Bowerman. And on the mound, Iron Man Joe McGinnity, known for pitching complete doubleheaders. And Josh Clark, the left fielder, will lead it off here for the Cleveland Naps. Welcome to the Polo Grounds. And today's game between these two great teams from the dead ball era. Josh Clark in 1908 with a 242 average. 21 runs batted in for him. He did steal 37. McGinnity, the line on him, in 1904 for McGraw's Giants, a 1.61 earned run average, 35 wins, 8 losses, 5 saves, 408 innings pitched, 86 walks, 144 strikeouts, a whip of 963, and opponents hitting 218 against him. Cousin Ken Castro saying he's liking the New York Giants in this tournament. I have to agree. There's Aaron Reed. Greetings from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. John DFW. Oh my God. John DFW is in here. So John, after we make you feel, we got a couple questions for you because you're the guy that owns the Discord, and hopefully you can, if you'll allow us to keep it maintained. There was just a couple things we wanted to have you add, but in the meantime, just welcome in, man. It's been too long. Todd B is here. He says he's got to root for the Naps, of course. And a good team. Surprise, Kent isn't for the Naps. He talked a lot. He takes a lot of them. Oh, man. Yeah, it's so good to see you in here, John. And Aaron, hope you're having fun in the Commonwealth. We had a nice day here. And it's supposed to be rainy but warmish tomorrow. All right. And Robbie and John, the two Texans, talking about the weather. And after this ball game, an art piece that I did, and this is not a joke, Robbie. I do think we get it. I think I have a pretty good idea of a woman for you, so that comes up after the ball game. All right, let's get into this, guys, as we're nearing 10 o'clock. All right. Game time. Um, Temperature right now, 45 degrees here. Clear and winds 10 miles an hour from right to left. Big ballpark, and we'll talk about it as we go along. So thanks for coming in, everybody, and we're about to get underway here with the 0-1 pitch coming to Josh Clark. Clark swings, fly ball to center, Bresnahan back on it, and one up, one down as Bresnahan squeezes it. So very short down the left and right field lines within this park. It has this horseshoe shape, and I realize I'm not using a dead ball version of the Polo Grounds, but I really like this. Had that cutaway in center. They actually played polo. One of the reasons why this park was sort of so long and so large. Very deep, and right where my mouse is roughly where Willie Mays made that amazing catch in the 1954 World Series. The big park, a lot of great baseball. Home of the enemies of the Brooklyn Dodgers. All right, here's third baseman Bill Bradley now for the Naps. Josh Clark flied out, one down. Bradley, 243 average also. 7 triples, 46 ribbies, 18 steals, bases empty. McGinnity with the 1-1. Bradley swings. This one grounded to third, and Art Devlin juggling the ball out there, dropping it, but Bradley not able to advance. So we already have the game's first error here in the top of the first. And Bradley will get a good look at it. Bill Bradley at first with 18 steals. Now here's George Stovall, and we've seen Stovall in our Ned McGreevy League. Stovall in 1908 hit 292. 6 triples, 2 home runs, 65 ribbies, 14 steals. So there's some speed on this Cleveland team. New York, I think, a little faster until you get down to Bowerman. Everybody else has got a nice amount of steals. The big base stealer here is Josh Clark for Cleveland. McGinnity throws over. Bradley back ahead of Dan McGann's tag. McGinnity now has a sign from Frank Bowerman. Here's the 0-1. There goes Bradley. Bowerman, and the hit and run was in motion, and Roger Bresnahan comes in and makes the catch in center, and Bradley gets back to first quickly. So 2 down here, and here is the star of the Ned McGreevy League, Napoleon Lajoie. But early days for Knapp here. But a 289 average for him, 74 ribbies in 1908, 6 triples, 2 home runs, 15 steals. McGinnity throws over. Bradley back ahead of the McGann tag. The Iron Man comes home in the 1-0 to Lajoie. Lajoie swings, chopper to McGinnity at the mound. McGinnity throws, but they're not going to, they do get Lajoie by a step. So Lajoie tearing down the baseline, but McGinnity making a nice play. So going into the bottom of the first, we are scoreless. And again, those of you who are keeping up with Robert's 1988 replay and inside pitch baseball, cards and dice, Cardinals Mets, and they were in the 10th inning and tied at 4-4 when I decided I needed to get started here. All right, let's look at the defense for this Cleveland team, Cleveland Naps. At first base, George Stovall. At second, Napoleon Lajoie. At short, George Perring. At third, Bill Bradley. In left field, Josh Clark. In center, Joe Birmingham. And in right, Bill Hinchman. Catching, I'm sorry you two, but this was his nickname, Nig Clark. And pitching, great pitcher here, the human hairpin, Addy Joss. So Sam Mertes will lead it off for the New York Giants. 4 home runs in 1904, 276 average for Mertes. And like so many of these Giants on here, excellent speed, 47 steals in 1904. Joss has finished his warm-up tosses, and here we go, the 1-0 to Mertes. Mertes swings in this fastball. This one a leaping grab at third by Bill Bradley. What a play by Bradley to rob Murty's of an extra base hit. So 1 up, 1 down for Art Devlin. Third baseman for these Giants, a mainstay for the New York Giants. Devlin hit .281 in 1904, 66 runs batted and 81 runs scored for him. 33 steals. Again, looking up and down this Giants lineup over here, you can see just this was a running team. So Nick Clark sets the target for Addy Joss. Joss is 1-0 to Devlin. Cut on, base hit to right. Birmingham and Hinchman converge, but Birmingham getting the ball in. So Devlin aboard with 1 away, and it brings up Roger Bresnahan. And Clinton Parks joining us here at the Polo Grounds. Good to see you. And Todd B says, tonight's broadcast brought to you by Beatles Fur Babies. So hit the like button. Thank you, Todd. They do appreciate that. All right. And Clinton Parks, as usual, warm, cuddly self, says, evening, pond scum, who laugh at my selection of the 1894 Orioles. Oh, not laughing at their offense, Clinton, that's for sure. We'll see them tomorrow night, unless Midlife Crisis is ready. We might do a doubleheader tomorrow night, either way. So we probably will see the Orioles tomorrow night against the 1907 Tigers. That'll be our first game or our second game. It will be our second game if we do the Ned McGreevy series. So anyhow, welcome in, Clinton. I don't know if anybody selected the New York Giants in this game, but if you do, and you feel like making some manager moves, feel free. As they are the home team here. This is a best of 3. And Todd, if you want to make substitutions for your Cleveland team, feel free. Nobody had a horse in last night's game, and nobody had a horse in the Red Sox A's. So far, I think Clinton, there's only been 1 or 2 people actually claimed a team in this tournament. All right, back to action here for Roger Bresnahan and the Duke of Tralee, 284 in 1904, 33 ribbies, 13 steals for Bresnahan. So one of the slower of foot here on this Giants squad. Josh throws over, Devlin back safely. Clark with the target now for Addy Joss, and the 1-1. Bresnahan swings, grounding ball to short. Pairing's only play will be to first onto George Stovall to retire Roger Bresnahan for the second out of the inning, and Art Devlin moving into scoring position. Oh my God. All right. So Dan McGann now batting. A lot of hitters in the 280s in these teams on both sides. Dan McGann hit 286 in 04, 6 home runs, 6 triples, 71 runs batted in for McGann. Runner on second, 2 away. And again, I'm down here. I'm using computer play call. As we get into later innings, I'll more actively manage as I did last night. Josh brings it to McGann. The 0-2. Cut on. Base hit up the middle. Birmingham has it. Rounding third is Devlin. As Birmingham comes home firing. And the tag not in time. And the New York Giants jump out to an early 1-0 lead here in the home half of the first. So McGann on board with the RBI single, scoring Art Devlin. And that brings George Brown, the right fielder, to the plate. 284 hitter, 4 home runs, 39 ribbies for him, 24 steals. McGann at first has stolen 42, and I really need to update my picture file as I don't have a photo of Dan McGann, but it should be easy enough to find. Addy Joss works over to McGann back safely. So Stovall, a good quick tag over there at first, but McGann, a very, very savvy base runner. Joss sets and delivers home the 1-0. And George Brown sends this to short. Pairing will just run to second to retire McGann in the side. But the 1904 Giants pick up a run on 2 hits. 1 man left. And we go to the top of the second. And it's the New York Giants 1, the Cleveland Naps nothing. And the shots going across the bow by Clinton Parks and Ken Castro. All right, right fielder Bill Hinchman lead it off for Cleveland here in the second. So for Hinchman in 1908 for this Cleveland team, a 231 average, 59 runs batted in for him. Managed 6 home runs, 8 triples. McGinnity winds and deals the 1-2. And we have another hit batsman. A lot of that going on in this tournament. So McGinnity plunks Hinchman, and Hinchman is aboard. 9 steals in 1908 for him. Here's catcher Nick Clark, 241 average, 27 ribbies for him. Bats lefty. Hinchman at first, nobody out, 1-0 Giant lead here in the top of the second. McGinnity throws over, Hinchman back. I expect to see some aggressive baseball in this one, as we have in the other games. McGinnity now brings it home. Here's the 1-2 to Clark. And hard ground ball to third, but Devlin fielding it quickly. Devlin to Gilbert to McGann. The 5-4-3 double play, and just that quickly now, 2 outs here in the top of the second. For center fielder Joe Birmingham for Cleveland, a 213 average for Birmingham. 38 runs batted in for him, just 1 triple and 2 home runs. 32 runs scored for him. McGinnity winds and fires. The 1-1 fastball to Birmingham. Fly ball to left. Sam Murdy's back on it and making a running catch short of the wall. Side retired, and we go to the bottom of the second. New York 1, Cleveland 0. And the Giants will send up one of cousin Ken Castro's favorite players, Bad Bill Dolan, and there he is, Billy Gilbert and Frank Bowerman. Dolan, a 268 hitter in 1904 with 3 doubles, 2 home runs. He batted in 80 and stole 47. Billy Gilbert waiting on deck. Addy Joss sets and fires the 2-2 to Dolan. And Bill Dolan took strike 3. This one painted the black on the outside corner. 1 down in the bottom of the second for Billy Gilbert. Second baseman, 253 average, 54 ribbies for him. Decent speed too, 33 steals. 3 triples that year and a home run. The human hairpin, Addy Joss with the 0-2 to Gilbert. And Gilbert, bounding ball to short, pairing up with it, and he'll go to George Stovall for the 6-3 put out of Gilbert. 2 up, 2 down here in the Giants second for catcher Frank Bowerman. Sporting a 232 average in 1904 with 27 runs batted in, 4 triples, 2 home runs. Joe McGinnity on deck. Joss fires it in now. The 0-1. Bowerman swings and pairing, ranging long to his left, up with it, and throws on to George Stovall to retire the Giants. Top of the third, and your score remains the 1904 New York Giants 1 and the 1908 Cleveland Naps 0. Good chat going on. Todd B predicting the 1912 Red Sox to win all of this. He says he's not sure of all the teams. We'll let you know if everybody's in it, Todd. At the end of this game and after we show this young lady that I found in my art archive, I'm going to be putting up in my online art store that I want to start too. All right, George Perring, shortstop, will lead it off here for Cleveland. Addy Johnson back at the top of the order, and Josh Clark. George Perring hit 216 in 1908. 19 runs batted in, 23 runs scored, 5 triples. No homers for Perring in 1908. McGinnity has neither walked nor struck out a batter. Here is the 1-2 pitch. Fastball, and forget about that because he picks up a strikeout. This one on the inside corner, they appeal, and the ump says he went around. So Perring strikes out, and that's number 1 for the Iron Man, as Addy Joss now 155 in 1908. 10 runs batted in for Addy Joss. 2 triples for the man called the human hairpin. Kind of tragic nickname for Joss is No one realized that the reason his posture was the way it was the man pitched and pitched amazingly, but had meningitis. Meningitis would finally claim his life, I believe, in 1911. So just 3 years after this Cleveland squad, the great Addie Joss. McGinnity sets some fires with one down to Joss. Fastball, and Joss gets a base hit into left. Sam Murty's up with it, gets it into bad Bill Dolan. And Addie is aboard. Had 3 steals in 1908. Back at the top of the order now, left fielder Josh Clark, who fly to deep center back in the first. And deep in this park is actually medium. That's how big the Polo Grounds is to straightaway center. Clark bats lefty. McGinnity has the sign from Bowerman, the wind, and the pitch. There goes Addie Joss. The throw down by Bowerman, the tag, and Addie Joss caught stealing. So Cleveland trying to get something going, and Joss erased trying to steal. So Cleveland playing aggressively with what they have. Again, not as much speed as this Giant squad. Josh Clark back in there, and the 0-1 from Joe McGinnity. Fastball. This one bunted. Bowerman jumping on it and throwing down to Billy Gilbert, covering to retire Josh Clark. And that does it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. Nobody left. We go to the bottom of the third. And the score remains the New York Giants 1 and the Cleveland Naps nothing. Joe McGinnity to lead it off here for the Gothams, and then back to the top of the order, and Sam Murty's and Art Devlin. Clint Park staying with his 1894 Orioles in this. There we go. Robbie Wartburg bringing some baseball demos punnage here. Don't nap on them, Ken. They might surprise you. All right. Ken not seeing the naps lasting long. We shall see how everybody's predictions turn out. Addie Joss now will face McGinnity. McGinnity, a 176 hitter in 1904. 7 ribbies for him. 1 stolen base. So between the two, Addie Joss is like sliding Billy Hamilton, I guess. Joss brings it, payoff pitch to McGinnity, who lays off and draws the walk. So Joss issuing the free pass to Joe McGinnity, and here's Sam Murty's. The left fielder lined to third back in the first. Joss kind of a cursory nod over to first at McGinnity. Has the sign from catcher Nick Clark. The wind and the pitch. And bunting on the first pitch is Sam Murty's. So the sacrifice is successful. Joe McGinnity will move into scoring position in second. And here's Art Devlin. So Devlin singled back in the first. New York managing 2 hits thus far off of Joss. And Cleveland just 1 off of McGinnity. Joss peers over his right shoulder, trying to keep McGinnity honest. Now brings it home to Devlin, the 1-2. Fastball swung on, grounded to third. Bradley up with it, throws across the diamond to George Stovall, and Devlin will be out number 2. Joe McGinnity will remain at second. And one thing again, you'll notice we talk about the ethnicity of baseball. You're going to still see a preponderance really of Irish names. So we've had Devlin, Bresnahan. There's a lot. You're going to see a lot of Irish players. There's Dan McGann, McGinnity, of course. The 19th century dominated by the Irish. We'll see this move along to when you start getting into the 1940s and 50s. You'll start seeing more Italian last names and others. But this early stage, German names, English names, a lot of Irish. It's fun to see how baseball sort of traced the waves of immigration into the United States. Down the line, we'll see Andy Cohen. All right, Addie Joss dealing with 2 down to the Duke of Tralee, and here's the 0-2. Bresnahan swings, base hit to right, and Hinchman up with it as McGinnity rounds third. And they're going to hold. No, they are not. They gave McGinnity the green light. And in to score. And let's look at the text replay. That happened so weird and so fast. So McGinnity rounds third, heading for home. The throw from Hinchman. Bresnahan trying for second. Throws cut by Lajoie. McGinnity scores from third. And Bresnahan gunned down, though, at second. So 2-0 New York Giants. And that ended the inning, too. So the run able to score ahead of the final out. And we go to the top of the fourth. 2-0 New York. Bill Bradley, George Stovall, and Nap Lajoie due up for Cleveland. Bradley grounded to third, but was safe on an error back in the first. Joe McGinnity has one strikeout thus far. He deals the 2-1. Swung on, fastball to left. Murchie's once again making the catch and left, ranging back. Murty's pretty good range out there in left field. Stepping up now, first baseman George Stovall fly to shallow center in the first. McGinnity sets and fires the 2-2 fastball. And Stovall sends this to left. This one has distance. It's gone. George Stovall with a big swing of the bat, 395 feet. And Cleveland cutting the New York lead in half. It is now 2-1 here in the visitors' half of the first at the fourth in the Polo Grounds in New York. Polo Grounds famous for being one of just a handful of parks, really. In fact, might be the only park, now that I'm thinking about it, to host an entire World Series, and that happened twice. 1921 and 1922, the Polo Grounds hosting the Giants-Yankees Fall Classic. I think this is the only park to do this. Unless... I'm trying to think if the Boston Braves and Clinton, Ken, you guys might know this, that the Boston Braves actually played the 1914 World Series at Fenway. I thought I'd read that somewhere. I'm not sure. If that is the case that they did, then it would be the Polo Grounds at Fenway that share that distinction. And also 1944, I'm sorry, Sportsman's Park for St. Louis, I believe. But I'm not sure, but I do know the Polo Grounds, I think, is anywhere from 1 to 3 parks. McGinnity deals to Lajoie. Here's the pitch. Lajoie swinging on the first pitch, comebacker to the mound. This one scorched. McGinnity with plenty of time to retire Knapp for 2 outs. Yes, they did. The Red Sox let them use it for the World Series only. All right, good. All right, so Polo Grounds and Fenway Park. What a distinction. Fenway Park, the newer facility, the nicer facility at the time in 1914, opened only 2 years, as you guys know. All right, here is Bill Hinchman to face McGinnity. And here is the delivery to the right fielder, the 1-1. And this one chopped up the middle. Billy Gilbert ranging to his right and fires it to Dan McGann. And that is it. No runs, or 1 run, I'm sorry, on 1 hit. No errors. George Stovall, home run. And it's 2-1, New York over Cleveland. Due up Dan McGann in the inning. RBI single scoring Art Devlin back in the first. Addy Joss with a strikeout and a walk thus far. He fires it home, the 1-0. And clean shot by McGann to right. This will be for extra bases. Hinchman giving chase in right. Hinchman up with it. The throw to second. Shortstop Pairing's tag is not going to be in time as the dust settles, and Dan McGann with a leadoff double here for New York. So Clinton reminding us that the Braves were still playing at the South End grounds in 1914. John DFW talking about the 23 game. John, are you talking about Action PC or Out of the Park? Because Out of the Park 24 releases next Friday worldwide. Really excited about that. 2 awesome baseball sims, and I'm in heaven. We'll also be showing some other ones this year. The new Dombrov, or the updated Dombrov, new edition of Digital Diamond Baseball, also due out soon. And again, we hope the erstwhile Mark will release maybe a day or 2 before Out of the Park and get some love on Steam. All right, here is George Brown with McGann in scoring position, nobody out. Brown grounded to short back in the first. The lefty stands in. Joss has the sign from Nick Clark. Here's the 0-1. Brown swings. Little chopper to first. George Stovall running in quickly. Tosses it on to Lajoie in the wheel play to retire Brown. But moving to third is Dan McGann. So New York threatening with its third run just 90 feet away. And Bad Bill Dahlin, nothing for one, struck out in the second against Abby Joss. Joss works to him now, and the 2-1 pitch. And Dahlin pops this one behind the plate. Clark going back on it. Will there be enough room? There will not. Out of play. Count even on Bad Bill as Joss offers. And Dahlin, chopper to first. Coming in to score will be Dan McGann. So Dahlin picking up the RBI. McGann scores. It's 3-0 Giants. Giants manufacturing their runs. Cleveland's lone run on the shot by George Stovall back in the fourth, top of the fourth. Or at the top of this inning. I'm still recovering from 17 inning affair last night in our great talk about creativity as Billy Gilbert steps in now. New York second baseman grounded to short his last time up. In fact, grounded to pairing. The shortstop actually ran to also cover the base. So Joss brings it the 0-2. Gilbert swings and bounding ball to second. Lajoie with a throw getting away from George Stovall. George Stovall giving chase, and Billy Gilbert now in scoring position. So each team committing an error. Lajoie with the throw in the dirt, maybe hurrying his throw. Gilbert, pretty good speed. 33 steals for him in 1904 for McGraw's Giants. Here's catcher Frank Bowerman grounded to short in the second. Josh checks the runner Gilbert, the 2-0 to Bowerman. Fastball, Bowerman swings. Fly ball, Joe Birmingham coming in quickly and making a fine running catch in center field to end the inning. However, another Giant run scores in one hit, one error. We've played 4 here at the Polo Grounds in New York City. It's the New York Giants 3 and the Cleveland Naps 1. Catching up on chat, Clint Park says Cleveland have to rely heavily on pitching in 1908. Stovall out-hit Lajoie. Indeed he did. Todd, I've already posted the one you proposed last night. I posted that in the Discord. Hopefully that will engender some discussion. I think it's a great idea. So, yeah, and John talking here saying apparently there have been some good historical game changes in Out of Park 24. Better fielding ratings. Looking forward to that. And Marcus Heinsohn, I guess, John, you caught that. You caught the reveal show, as it were. That was on at 8 o'clock Eastern tonight, so 7 o'clock your time. Marcus talking about some significant improvements, and I know World's Worst Gamer doesn't like the graphics in Out of the Park. For me, just my own opinion, I think for a text-based baseball sim, it's superb. And they said that they picked up more animations, things like that. So looking forward, graphical update along with improvements in AI again this year. Better historical models. We're going to be bringing in things like StatCast type things, instant replays, which would be really nice. So looking forward to see what Marcus and Matt and everybody at Out of the Park Developments has to offer. And the other thing I would ask is anybody in here that gets the early version of it from Out of the Park Developments, please, no spoilers. That's all I ask. Thank you. Because I'm going to wait and just buy it on Steam this year. All right, Nick Clark here will lead it off here for Cleveland in the top of the fifth. And then Joe Birmingham. Clark is 1 for 1, grounded to third. Actually grounded into a double play. Here's the wind in the 0-2 from Joe McGinnity. Curveball, and Clark spanks this one to Dahlin at short. Routine 6-3 put out on Clark. for 1 down. Joe Birmingham now with George Perring on deck. Birmingham nothing for 1. Flied out his last time up. 3-1 Giants lead. Here's McGinnity's 1-2 delivery. Fastball, and this one in the outside corner. And Joe McGinnity picks up strikeout number 2. It's 2 away for shortstop George Perring. Struck out in the 3rd against McGinnity. Here comes the pitch from the Iron Man, the 1-1. And Perring sends this to right, but coming in on it is George Brown to make the catch. And that retires the side. Cleveland goes quietly. We go to the bottom of the 5th, and the score remains the same, 3-1. 1977 Phillies were definitely a great club. Todd B. talking about his current project, the 77 to 82 project. He says that the 1977 Red Sox are leading the American League East, the 1980 Royals leading the West. That 80s Royals team was a fine squad. 77 Phillies and 79 Pirates leading the National East. Go Bucks! And the 77 Dodgers leading the National League West. Clinton Park says, Todd, you won. Game 3, let Charlie Lebrand pitch. Then tell the Pirate fan you want the Leaders in there. I know 3 after all. So Lebrand, or Liebhardt, so I think Lebrand. Anyhow, at a lousy 2.20 average. So my Bucks overperforming a little bit in 1977. We had a good team in 1977. The Phillies were just crazy tough. Joe McGinnity, Sam Murdy's, and Art Devlin here in the bottom of the 5th. Iron Man walked back in the 3rd. Joss, payoff for the 2-2 pitch to McGinnity. This one a little grounder to 3rd, and George Bradley on to George Stovall. Or Bill Bradley, I'm sorry, to retire the side. 5-3, 1 down. Sam Murdy's. He is lined to 3rd and sacrificed back in 3rd. So 4 for 1 for Murdy's. Josh deals the 0-2 pitch. Pulled the string on this one. Routine fly ball to right. And Hinchman has it. Out number 2. There's Art Devlin. He's ready to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. And Devlin singled and grounded out. Josh deals to him now. 0-1 fastball to Devlin. Devlin, chopper up the middle. This one deflects off of Josh's foot, and Perring able to get to the ball and retire the runner. Strange play, but nonetheless it gets the job done. No runs, no hits, no errors. 5 in the books here, Polo Grounds, and it's New York 3, Cleveland 1. Addy Josh to lead it off for Cleveland, and then back at the top of the order. Addy Josh singled back in the 3rd and was caught stealing. Joe McGinnity has hung up 2 Ks thus far in the game. The 1-1 to Josh, cut on, hard ground ball to 3rd. Devlin with plenty of time sets and throws on to Dan McGann, and Addy Josh is out number 1 here in the inning. And it looks like, there we go, there's our sample. All right, Josh Clark, now 0-2 for Cleveland. McGinnity's 3-1 pitch, swung on, come back to the mound. McGinnity off to the left of the hill, onto McGann, and to get a speedy Josh Clark. He is the speed on this Cleveland team, and he is out. 2 away here in the 6th for Bill Bradley. Bill Bradley is grounded out and flied out. Joe McGinnity kicks in, fires. 1-0, fastball, clean shot into left field, base hit. Sam Murdy's gets it in quickly to Bad Bill Dolan. So 2-out single by Bill Bradley, who in 1908 for this Cleveland team had 18 steals. And that'll bring up George Stovall. Solo shot back in the 4th, giving Cleveland its run. McGinnity checks the runner. Here's the 1-2. Stovall Not going to catch up to this one. Called strike 3 below the belt. And that is strikeout number 3 for Joe McGinnity. We head to the bottom of the 6th. And it's the 1904 Giants 3, the 1908 Naps 1. Roger Bresnahan will lead it off, followed by Dan McGann. Bresnahan 1 for 2 in the contest. RBI single, scoring Joe McGinnity in the 3rd. Addy Joss thus far with a walk and a strikeout. Wind's calming a little bit here, right to left at 5 miles an hour. On a crisp day, it's 42 degrees now. Joss with a 2-2 pitch. Bresnahan swings, little dribbler to second. Lajoie on to George Stovall. Bresnahan is out number 1 on the textbook 4-3. Lajoie, with an error in this game, had to get to a ball in a hurry and almost did it this time, but making the nice play. Dan McGann is 2 for 2 tonight. So a single scoring Art Devlin and then a double back in the 4th. Joss brings it home. Here's the 0-1. Dan McGann swings. Bounding ball to short. Pairing with plenty of time will go to Stovall. And Dan McGann is the 2nd out. George Brown now. Sacrificed back in the 4th. So we've seen some bunting going on here in this game. Joss brings it home. 1-1, pulling the spring, and Brown flies out to Joe Birmingham to end the inning. We go to the 7th. It's 3-1 New York. Cleveland will send up Nap Lajoie to start it off, and then Bill Hinchman and Nick Clark. Again, Lajoie so beloved by Cleveland that for a time the club was named the Naps. And how many ball players can lay claim to that? By the way, did some baseball book shopping today, just really quickly. Picked up the biography of Satchel Paige. Rebought because I left it back across the pond. A great classic baseball book, The Boys of Summer. I also picked up a wonderful book that I'd never heard of before that I'm really looking forward to reading, and it's about baseball's origin myths, and it's called Baseball in the Garden of Eden. Picked that up today. Also picked up a Saber book, and it's really cool. It's Saber's a record book and of unusual records and stuff like that. So a little 400 page tome. So hitting up some baseball plus just some other non-baseball books as well too. But wanted to highlight the baseball books I picked up today, and that Baseball in the Garden of Eden. Cousin Ken, I don't know if you ever read it, but looks like a must-read for you, and dealing with baseball's origin myths. Christopher Slovic coming in, he says, only the Orlando Magic, named after Magic Johnson, so happened in basketball. All right, so Napoleon Lajoie and Magic Johnson sharing a rather fine distinction, a testament to their great talents. McGinnity to Lajoie at the 0-2. Lajoie lines this one, but right to bad Bill Dolan. So 1 up, 1 down for right fielder Bill Hinchman. The Cleveland right fielder was plunked in the 2nd by McGinnity and then grounded to 2nd in the 4th. McGinnity winds and fires. 0-1 pitch coming in. Hinchman, a little spitball, and oh, what a stop by Billy Gilbert, and from his knees tosses out Bill Hinchman. 2 away. Billy Gilbert flashing the leather for John McGraw's squad here. It's 2 away. Bases empty for catcher Nick Clark. Grounded into a double play in the 2nd, grounded to short in the 5th. Good to see you in here, Christopher. I'm not sure what I understand that the nickname kind of gets under your skin. I do understand. Um, that being said, um, I think it's important to reflect the reality of this era in baseball. So yeah, I don't like it either, but it was the name he was known by, and I think it's important to point it out. I don't think we should, in my opinion, I don't think that we should kind of just excuse, right? Because I guess to offer, nobody objected to when we were talking about Dummy Hoy. And it was certainly not Dummy Hoy's fault that he was deaf and was mute. And players named Dummy got that. Players who were alcoholics. I mean, these days we would never call somebody Bugs. And certainly, that name Nig is quite undesirable. So I thank you, Clint, for bringing that up. And I just want to provide you with my reasoning why I would keep using that name. It needs to be known. I mean, remember, we didn't have, until 1947, African Americans couldn't be in this game, and we can't whitewash that either. But thank you, my friend, for bringing that up. Clark, nothing for two. McGinnity brings it. Here's the 0-1. Clark swings, and this one lined to right and just foul. Brown gamely trying to get to that ball and misses it by about 3 feet. Clark back in the box in the 0-2 from McGinnity. Clark swings. This one popped in the infield. Again, ranging toward the foul line, and he will make the catch. Middle of the 7th, New York 3 and Cleveland 1. Christopher Slovic says that really Bugs is for drunks. Bugs Bunny now seems something new. Clint Parks comes back with Bugs Bunny was a carrot lush. Indeed he was. And Ken Castro, of course, contributing to this highly intellectual conversation. So he says, I thought Bugs is something you get after a Tinder date. Excellent, excellent. No, that's what Johnny Evers' nickname. That's what you get after a Tinder date. The Crab. All right, Clinton Parks and Fine Fettle tonight. Love it. All right, Bad Bill Dolan will lead it off here for the Giants in the bottom of the 7th. Dolan with an RBI back in the 4th, scoring Dan again, giving the Giants a 3-1 lead. Joss with 1 strikeout and a walk, 1-1, and Dan McGann sends this to center. Joe Birmingham running back on this one, making a nice catch. So 1 away for Billy Gilbert, who had a great play today for New York at second base. With the bat, not so much. Grounded to short and was safe in a throwing error in the 4th. Addy Joss's delivery. Gilbert swinging on the first pitch. This one up the middle, and Perring has it. Once again deflected off of Joss. And that's out number 2. So Addy Joss somehow, his looks like his right ankle may be, this time it looks like it actually came off his glove. But so parts of Joss's anatomy, and let's hope he doesn't get too excited. Hope you guys get that little, anyhow. Parts of his anatomy contributing to 2 putouts. So 2 away for Frank Bowerman. Joss with the 0-2. Bowerman swings, and this is not going to go off with anybody's anatomy. Perring has it measured and makes the catch at short. Go to the 8th. Ken Castro says, rub it. Clinton saying this isn't a bad game at all. Really isn't. So far. Last night's game was just crazy. We had everybody managing last night, Clinton. It was bunt, 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 do this, do that, do that. And it just kept going and going and going. And finally, 17 innings, and it was over. All right, Joe Birmingham, nothing for 2. Struck out his last time up. And no, I'm sorry, Dave Allitzer comes in. Allitzer, 213 hitter in 1908 and flies out. So the AI going very, very quickly there with a pinch hitter. All right, George Paring, nothing for 2 for him. Struck out, flied out. McGinnity brings it. And no, Terry Turner, 239 hitter. And this one off the glove of Billy Gilbert, so the error, and Terry Turner's aboard with 1 out, and Addy Joss 1 for 2. So 2 pinch hitters in the inning thus far for Cleveland, 1 out. Turner at first with 18 steals, and the throw over, Turner safe. McGinnity with the 2-2 now to Addy Joss, infield at the corners, Joss swinging away. Dahlin will throw to Gilbert, Gilbert to McGann, but they will not turn the double play. So Joss aboard, 2 down for Josh Clark. He grounded back to McGinnity back in the 6th. So 0 for 3 for the left fielder. Joss caught stealing earlier in the game. McGinnity with the 1-2 delivery. Spitball. Clark chopper to second. Gilbert quickly up with it and on to Dan McGann. Side retired, and we go to the bottom of the 8th. The score remains New York 3 and Cleveland 1. And Joe McGinnity will lead it off here for the Gothams. And then back at the top of the order, Sam Mertes and Art Devlin. And welcome to the Polo Grounds, Cranks and imaginary Cranklets. Hope you're having a good time. Joe McGinnity grounded to third back in the 5th. Addy Joss winds and fires the 0-1 to McGinnity. McGinnity lost this one to left, but Josh Clark making the nice, easy catch for out number 1 in the F7. Back at the top of the order now for left fielder Sam Mertes. Flied out in the 5th. Temperature down to 35 degrees here. Chilly, chilly, chilly ball game here at the Polo Grounds. As Joss with the 2-1. Mertes swings, bounding ball to short. Allitzer staying into play short to his right and throws on to George Stovall to retire Mertes for out number 2. Smiling Art Devlin up there now. He has singled and grounded out twice. Joss with the 1-1 fastball. Devlin chops her to third. Bill Bradley throws across the diamond. Good peg and plenty of time to Stovall to get the runner. We go to the 9th. Cleveland with 3 chances to tie it up here. New York looking to take game 1 of this best of 3. Joe McGinnity will face Bill Bradley here, and George Stovall and Nap Lajoie. So the number 2, 3, 4 hitters due up for this Cleveland squad. Bradley singled back in the 6th, 1 for 3. McGinnity sets and delivers 0-2 to Bradley. And Bradley sends this one fly ball rather deep to Sam Mertes. Mertes making the handy catch. 1 up and 1 down. First baseman Stovall now. Solo home run back in the 4th. That was Cleveland's only run. McGinnity fires home the 2-0 delivery. Stovall swings and a bounding ball to Bad Bill Dowling at short. And on to Mr. Dan McGann for out number 2. Cleveland down to its last batter, the great Napoleon Lajoie, who is nothing for 3, grounded out to McGinnity twice, and then lined to Dowling at short. Here's McGinnity's wind, and the 1-2 pitch, fastball to Lajoie, base hit. And Bresnahan and Mertes converging, but Bresnahan calling off Mertes and getting the ball into Bad Bill Dowling. So Cleveland with 2 down and a runner aboard, and the tying run comes to the plate, and Bill Hinchman, who in 1908 did have 6 home runs. Lajoie at first with 15 steals. McGinnity with a check of the runner, and the 2-0 to Hinchman. Hinchman swings, and this should end the ball game. Routine fly ball to right, and that does it. So the New York Giants of 1904 take game one in this best of three, 3-1 over the Cleveland Naps. Let's look at our recap. So Joe McGinnity goes to 1-0, and Addy Joss falls to 0-1. Highlights first: George Stovall for Cleveland, 1 for 4 with a home run, and for the New York Giants, Dan McGann, 2 for 3 with a double. Pardon me. Let's look at our pitching quickly. So Joss went 8 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, all earned, walked one, struck out one. Iron Man Joe McGinnity went 9, 4 hits, 1 run. It was earned, and gave up 1 home run and struck out 3. So not necessarily a dominating performance by either pitcher. Just a quick look at our miscellaneous. Kind of a good ball game. Nothing terribly exciting. Interestingly enough, there was not a single stolen base. An error count for this time very low. 2 for the Giants, 1 for Cleveland. And Joe McGinnity given the MVP makes sense, and that does it. So let's look at our playoff brackets so we can review the teams and who is where. So thus far in round one, the 1912 Boston Red Sox leading 1-0 in that series. The New York Giants leading over the Cleveland Naps and the one we just saw. And the 1919 Cincinnati Reds 1-0 lead over the 1914 Boston Braves. And then the next game in this round one will be game one between the 1907 Tigers and the 1894 Baltimore Orioles. The other teams in this tournament that got a bye in round one. So in round two, we'll see the 1885 Chicago White Stockings waiting for the winner of this one. The 1884 Providence Grays waiting for the winner between Philadelphia and Boston. The 1909 Pittsburgh Pirates will either face the Naps or the Giants. And then finally, the 1907 Chicago Cubs waiting for the victor, either the 1919 Reds or the 1914 Boston Braves. Again, round one is a best of three, round two, best of five, and rounds three and four, best of seven. Um, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. A few people have some horses in the race. So there are your predictions. I think some good teams. We'll be doing another one of these, bringing in teams that we took out, but that will be later in the year. So you'll see either the 1899 Brooklyn Superbas or the 1904 Highlanders. You'll see the 1916 Brooklyn Dodgers. Um, we'll go back in time probably and do the 1902 Pittsburgh Pirates. And 1917 White Sox. So a lot of good teams for and I think the next one we'll call it the Clinton Parks Crab Fest or something. I don't know, since he brought it up about Johnny Evers. So there we go. We'll exit out of this. And now I did. John DFW says, Robbie, if you do to add change with Discord, yeah, I'll let him know, John. That would be cool. And thank you for coming in tonight. Well, Robbie, what I'll do is I'll just DM you if that's okay, buddy. And if you can let John know. It's just a couple things we need, John, and we really, really appreciate you setting up that Discord. That's been amazing. We've been able to, thanks to you adding, we've been able to, and so thank you so much that with what we're going to be doing with Steve Tate's Negro League Files and all the other stuff we've been doing. Just a couple just kind of general things, maybe a channel for Out of the Park Baseball and then maybe one for other baseball sims and then current baseball news. Maybe just 3 channels like that, and I think we should be good to go, my friend, when you have time. I mean, I know it's a busy schedule for you. Now, I did promise you guys, you guys saw bits of my artwork last night, just showed you 2 things, a dragon and a rather fetching female vampire, but I think Robbie said to me one time he likes blondes. And I was looking through some of the things because I'm starting an online store that's going to have print-on-demand stuff. So either full, posters, or people want things printed on coffee mugs or shirts, hoodies, whatever. And I found this young lady. It's my own work. So Robbie, this would be, I think, pretty nice. I hope you'll like this young lady if you're ready. I will bring her over and we'll just kind of full screen her. She's in a very subdued light. And there she is, Robbie. We're looking for, this is who we're looking for you. So she's kind of a warrior chick. Chainmail bikini. I know I would not say no if she was eating crackers in bed. So that's what I'm thinking there, Robbie. We're gonna look for her for you. And this is gonna be one of the things that's gonna be available in my online store. Hopefully people will like it. Splitting it up into sort of like fantasy sections and blah 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 and whatever. Robbie Wartberg says, "Oh wow, I think we have a winner." Speaking of eating, so I hid her ears on purpose to let you decide whether you, if you want her to be an elf or not. Make Robbie go blind. Who is this Tarnak of heavy metal fame? So I was inspired by her when I was creating this, but she's just, she could be a kind of alternate universe, alternate Middle Earth, sultry Galadriel. I don't know. So what do you think, Robbie? Should we? Clint says he grabbed the ears. So what do you think, Robbie? Is this the girl we want to look at and look for you? If so, let me know. And I even have I did kind of a different sort of thing. But yeah, well, Robbie's hoping that the armor wouldn't protect her much. So, Robbie, this is the girl we're going to look at for you, or look for you. Thank you. He says she does look pretty. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so there. Now we've had our little bit of thank you, Clinton, very, very much. That means a lot. Thank you. All right, now we'll let this saucy tart go away. See you later, sweetheart. All right. So we had a great discussion last night. We were talking about creativity, and started with writing, and mostly writing, but we were getting into art and music creation and everything. And had a new visitor last night. Really cool dude. Jackass whiskey and pinto beans. Really nice guy. So we hope that he'll make a return visit to the channel and not fall prey to just the modern baseball running around all over the place. Yeah, Robbie. Yeah, that actually what I wanted to stolen bases by team. Um, let me get to Robbie's comment and I'll get to yours, cousin. Yeah, Robbie. Actually, what I wanted to do, and this is not the best of stories, but I'll pass along to you guys. I haven't talked a lot about my childhood, but it sucked, and I am sad to say most of you guys know this. I am the son of a double murderer, and he was a child molester and all that kind of stuff. Anyhow, I wanted to be a commercial artist. That was my thing. I wanted to be a commercial artist, and my mom at the time was a bank teller, and at the time, bank tellers didn't make a lot of money, and she scrimped and saved and sacrificed, and I was already accepted into a very prestigious art institute, and she saved up for my entire first year's tuition, and he basically stole the money, took my money, and it took me decades before I started doing artwork again. But I wanted to, so I wanted to be, but it took the heart out of me. But at the same time, it kind of pushed me then over into music. But yeah, I've been an artist all my life. Thank you, thank you, cousin. So yeah. So now Ken Castro asking, stolen bases by team. Are we talking about in this um, our playoff league? Is that what you're talking about, cousin? Certainly can do that. Let's do it, do it, do it. Yep, tournament teams, yes. Oh, thank you, Clinton. Appreciate that. That's kind of just a lot of things. I figured, man, I want to live forever. So far, so good. All right, let me see here. Let's do leaders. Let's do team statistics. And oh my God, I know. Oh, I have to do this as because we haven't. How's this gonna do this? Oh, no games played because it's a playoff. That sucks. So because it's not a season, I can't. It won't just. Let me see if I can do this in reports and do it that way. Teams. How about team reports? Yeah, this is the best way I can do it, cousin. I hope this works. But I can't do it by t by team. I can only do it per team, unfortunately. So apparently the way this works is this would actually have to be um, a season. I would actually have to let this thing play out as a season, and we could do it that way. So, um, yeah, again, real life stolen bases. I would have to. Apparently, this is a little bit of a limitation here, which sucks because it would be really, really fun to see this. But let me see team. How about team compare? Um, let me see statistics, real stats. Ah, there we go. Okay, got it, got it, got it. So stolen bases. Okay, so here we go, here we go, here we go. So it's up on the screen right now, and you can see by far the 1894 Baltimore Orioles with 324 steals. So anything you guys want to see, these are sortable. Um, wow. Now, for 1884 and 1885 Providence, you guys are going to see no steals, but that's not the game's fault. It just wasn't a recorded thing yet. So, but looking at the slowest team on here in terms of steals, the 1914 Braves. Ha! Cousin Ken says 324. Hold my beer, says Liberty Tree. Let's look at triples. This should already be sorted. Yep. Again, so the 1894 Baltimore Orioles, right? I mean, you look at it, these guys are insane as far as their offense, right? So 1894 Baltimore Orioles, if this were a league that we were playing a season, right? They've got a 343 average, um, absolutely kicking ass in stolen bases. Second to them, though, the 1904 New York Giants. But what else are they leading? I mean, it's nuts. Let's see. I believe, yep, they have the most hits. Hits. I said hits, hits, hits. Um, but if we look at pitching, we see a very, very different picture. The 1894 Baltimore Orioles with the lowest ERA at 4.96. Now, interestingly enough, here we thought a great matchup. So the 1912 Boston Red Sox edging the 1911 um, Philadelphia Athletics in ERA, 2.76 for the Red Sox, 3.01 for the A's. Um, the 1884 Providence team, best ERA, followed by the 1907 Chicago Cubs, which again, great pitching there. A little bit surprised here, but let's look at. I don't know what else you guys want to see here, but we can do. Let's look at batting plus, and that's okay. That's because we need to play games for that. Fielding wise, nothing going on because we haven't really done anything. So, but all teams batting, replay stats, regular season. And I guess it didn't like that I did this. Playoffs. Now we're starting to see our stats for playoffs. And there's only been 3 steals. And that's been by or it's been 4 steals. I'm sorry. So 3 by the Red Sox and 1 by the A's. Nobody else, any stolen bases for the 6 teams that have played yet. So, and then, yeah, there we go. It's good stuff. Right. I mean, I'm not knocking the. I just think that the Baltimore Orioles are really going to have to score like just crazy. And so, Clinton, if you're in here when you want to manage them, go nuts, man, because you're going to need to manufacture all kinds of run because you're. I mean, if they go through and they face these Cubs, for instance, these Cubs have a nasty, nasty pitching staff, and so does Providence, for that matter. So it can make happy. Oh, thanks. Clinton Park says the artwork. Maybe we change Beatles' last name to Ross, and I can make happy clouds with trees. Well, actually, so Clinton, I make happy things like dragons and chick vampires like that. So, um, no happy clouds, but there he's still smiling, and there's like a happy tower there and happy things and stuff, and so I guess that could be a Bob Ross thing if you want. Beatles have to perm his hair. So anyhow, digging through the art, I have some baseball art that I'm gonna put up too. So we'll have a lot of fun. Anyhow, this isn't about doing art on here, but I did want to show the, and I suppose I feel compelled one more time. She's going to make her second appearance, and I guess her last. There is it's a different art style, but this is the female vampire. Now, Robbie, if you would rather have her rather than the blonde, we can certainly work that out for you as well. Godzilla could take him. Godzilla versus Dragon. So, Robbie, you have your choice between the blonde or this young lady here. Yeah, she's kind of like Vampirella, I guess. I never really thought of that. I just thought, I'm just going to create kind of what would be a sort of haughty vampire if I were to be taken by a vampire. I certainly think she would do a very nice job. So Robbie prefers the blonde. Yeah, I have to dig back, Todd. I don't have anything like here, but I do have some redheads, absolutely, and some women of color as well. So there we go. But I remember Robbie saying he liked blondes, and I was looking through and I found a blonde. But anyhow, she just wanted to say hi to you guys. She missed you, and she is rooting for the 1909 Pirates, by the way. So just to let you know. Anyhow, we'll get rid of that crazy stuff. All right, so here we are, 10:59. We've done worse at 2 a.m., right? Haven't we? So at one point we had like 11 people in here, which is really nice. So thank you. I mean, they didn't stay, but they hung out for a while. Average view duration is like around a half hour now, so that's nice. So, what are we? We're at 11 o'clock. So we did all right. If you guys feel like chatting some baseball, I'll just put up a Diamond Mine game here in the background. It doesn't make any noise. Or we can have a little baseball mogul action and just talk some baseball or hang out for a little bit. Or we can just close it off here. But good to see Robbie back. Unless, actually, yeah, Robbie's back. Robbie, are you going to do a game tonight? It's 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. for you. So up to you there, mate, if you want to do a game. It's been a while. And Clinton says out of the park baseball would be nice. Oh, my favorite. Oh my God, I have so many favorite Irish jokes. All right, can I wonder if I can get away with this one. All right, so, all right, you asked for it. This is one of my favorites. And I'll do it in a brogue. If you'd like, if you're after having it in a brogue, then Tad be, of course, I'll do it for you, me bio. Might be a bit hard to understand, but let me try. It's not as heavy. So, hmm. Just tell it in straight up like this. So, without the brogue, right? So this Irish woman goes to confession, and she tells the priest. She says, "Oh, Father, 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 save me, soul Jesus and Mary and Joseph. But I believe I'm pregnant. I believe I'm pregnant, Father." And the priest says, calm down, my child. What do you mean? Do you think? Oh, Father, Father, I think I'm pregnant, and I think the second coming has to do with it. And the priest said, wait, slow down. What do you mean? You said you. Did I hear you right? You thinking that you're pregnant because of the second coming? Oh, I, Father, 'tis a terrible thing, you know. That is the second coming that made me pregnant. The second coming, I tell you. And the priest said, what does the second coming? How did you get pregnant? How does the second coming make you pregnant? She said, "Oh, Father, 'tis a terrible thing because I swallowed the first one." So there we go. There's an Irish joke for you. And I'll let you guys figure that one out. Some of you. You got it already. Couldn't help it. It's just one of my Irish jokes. All right, we getting some laughter. Nice. Thanks, guys. Mint, says Cousin Ken. Everybody laughing. Good. Glad you guys liked it. So, Robbie, are you going to do a game? If you don't do a game, I'll do something out of the park baseball. But if you do the game, have to be quick and out of the park because I do got to hit the hay at some point. Clint says is going to wake up Honey Bunny. We don't want to invoke the wrath of Honey Bunny. We certainly don't want to do that. So Robbie Wartburg doing 1920 on his channel. 1920 American League. A great pennant race between the White Sox and the Indians that Judge Landis, I guess, in a way decided. Okay. Robbie says not tonight. He says he needs to do some offline games to advance the season to the next day first. Oh, I will be. Yep. Gonna be smart. Actually, tomorrow I'm gonna be doing baseball. It's Saturday that I'm actually celebrating St. Patrick's Day. So, Todd B asks, "What's Irish and stays out all night?" I guess we're about to find out. What is it, Todd? I've got to find out what's Irish and stays out all night. And as Ernie Harwell would say, this crowd just inched forward in its seats. We're waiting. Patio furniture. Nice. All right. We get Todd gets the. Is there a bloody shamrock in here somewhere? I believe there is. What is it? Where's the damn shamrock? I know there's one in here. Oh, where the hell is it? Search emoji. Can I do a? Yeah. Okay, search emoji. We got to get. There we go for Todd B. Bam. There we go. World's Gamer says, "Oh my God, it took me a bit to get that. That was good. Patio furniture. Good stuff." All right. Wow. I think everybody looks at with Cousin Ken. Hey, there's Pib99. He showed up just in time for the joke. We're doing Irish jokes. We're doing Irish jokes apparently. Now, Pib, right, so Pib knows I'm half Italian. Pib, Italian, right? So if you're Irish and Italian, March 17th and March 19th are crazy days because March 17th, of course, is St. Patrick's Day. Well, the 19th is the feast of St. Joseph, and that's like a huge celebration in Italy. So, if I didn't have work Monday, I'd be celebrating two great saints. Although my saint am actually named after that saint, and also Saint Joseph the hymnographer, who wrote the Akathist, one of the most beautiful hymns you ever hear in ancient Christianity. It's sung both in the Byzantine Catholic and Eastern Orthodox churches. But yeah, but so St. Joseph is March 19th. He kind of gets overlooked. Um, so yeah, anybody have some? You heard mine. I hope you liked it. Uh, so yeah, luck. That's one of the advantages is being a tiny channel is I don't think YouTube really is going to worry about me telling an Irish joke about like that. Yep, the Feast of Saint Joseph is 19 March, and that is huge in the Italian community. I remember, I remember doing both and watching my relatives getting yeah crazy. The Irish side on the 17th and the Italian side on the 19th. Needless to say, things were a mess on the 18th and the 20th. The Feast of Saint Joseph is a little more subdued, but even in Ireland, a lot of people talk about wanting to spend St. Patrick's Day in Ireland, but it's not celebrated the way it's here. It's celebrated in America. It's actually pretty solemn. The pubs have to stay closed until a certain time. You know, they don't go out. Of course, the Liffey is a pretty river anyhow, sort of like the Thames. But they don't paint the waterways green. They don't drink green beer, anything like that. It's a very different kind of celebration of St. Patrick, and Ireland has so many saints anyhow. Um, but you still go there, whatever. So we went from lofty conversations last night to I don't know. I think Todd wins though with patio furniture. Patio furniture. I like it. Imagine being a saint and having your day when everyone is still hungover. I know, right? Saint Joseph is up there in heaven saying to Saint Patrick, who by the way was not Irish, saying, "Pat, really? I mean, here I am. I'm hanging out, and right? You look at even a secular calendar, and there it is, St. Patrick's Day, 17 March, and everyone's drunk, and here I am. It's the 19th. It's my feast day, the foster father of our Lord Jesus Christ, and I don't make it on even a secular calendar. Pat, what's up with it? Pat's gonna say, well, you know, Joseph, it's like this, isn't it? You weren't about drinking wine, were you? The good vino, is it that you eyes call it? I don't know. But don't be coming after me. I got the shillelagh waiting here for you, Joe. Now come have a Guinness with me. Come have a pint. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's a bit of a drag for St. Joseph. I really do. But what you gonna do? MV. Aaron says it's good crack. No, no Shamrock Shakes. Although Ireland has gotten surprisingly, um, so the two most quote unquote Catholic countries in Europe, so not Orthodox but Catholic, Ireland and Poland. However, Ireland, so for until very recently, divorce was still illegal in Ireland, as was abortion. Both are legal now in Ireland. Poland remaining steadfast, though. The Orthodox countries, of course, both are illegal. So Romania and Greece and those places. But Ireland, it blew me away when, especially when they legalized divorce. It was like Ireland, you can be divorced in Ireland now. It's pretty crazy, and that happened sometime in the 2010s, I believe. So yeah. Anyhow, welcome in, MV, my friend. What you up to? It's good to see you. Aaron Reid, he's after liking me Irish accent. Well, good on you. I tell people it's a birth defect, you know. Anyhow, MV guys, go subscribe to his channel. He's been doing some wonderful things with Action PC Baseball and Steve Tate's um, Negro League file, which he's worked so hard on. Over 400 players now. I think 401 players, something like that. To MV, of course, he's a bit of a slacker, but MV just getting up. I guess his last day of work, and yep, I've got to get up. Not 6 hours and 45 minutes from now, but no big deal. Aaron, how are you? How are you? What you guys do in the Commonwealth today? Anything fun? Anything interesting? Aaron visiting the Commonwealth of PA with his family, getting a nice little cabin here in our beautiful Commonwealth. Ken Castro says, I hear you, Clinton. He's been twice to Ireland in the 90s. Wonderful, friendly people there. Clinton made it to Wales, got to Cardiff. And I also strongly suggest Scotland. And another fun country is the Netherlands. The Netherlands is an absolute blast. Um, but don't fall into the tourist trap of going to Amsterdam. Go to Rotterdam. Rotterdam is just fun. Really fun city. Aaron Reed says nothing tonight. Been settling in. His dad's drunk. Awesome. He just went to bed. So did Aaron's brother and his wife. The only one awake. He's not really that tired yet. Watching History of the World on Hulu. Oh yeah, the History of the World Part 2. Right. Or was there a scammer my mom made? Yeah. So World's Worst Gamer. Looking forward to some Scots. But Scotland. Scotland is gorgeous, and but go to the Netherlands for just a great time. The Dutch people love to party, super friendly. Just one tip: you're in the Netherlands, be don't order Heineken because you'll get laughed at because the Dutch don't drink Heineken. Um, drink a good drink a good Belgian stout, they'll love you, and a good Belgian stout will put you on your arse. So Aaron says now he's just on his computer working on his 19. Yeah, so Aaron, guys, he's been doing getting into action PC baseball like big time. He told me in a, DM today on the Discord that he's addicted to it. So way to go, Aaron. I guess the next step will be baseball for Windows. So get yourself hooked up with a DVD drive, and hopefully baseball for Windows will be something fun for you. Now that I have a little bit more education of how your software for the siteless works. Yep. Clint doing some traveling. He's going to be going to Louisville in May. Oops. Oh well. He was going somewhere and then it went away. So maybe he's not going somewhere or not. I have no idea. No idea. So to recap, if MLC sent me roster lineup revisions, whatever, then tomorrow night will game one will be or tomorrow night our first game in a doubleheader will be game one of the Ned McGreevy World Series. Game two will be on the 1907 Tigers against the 1894 Orioles. If I don't hear from Midlife Crisis, game one is going to be this, and then game two will be something with the Negro Leagues. So either way, we'll do a doubleheader tomorrow. Ken, when is that? That's April, isn't it? Cooperstown. I really want to go, but I kind of need to know so I can get the time off work. I want to. I am ashamed to say I've never been to Cooperstown, so I want to go. And I'll even buy an APA game, and maybe you and I can roll one up or something. I don't know. So everybody talking about travels where they've been. Guys, if you ever go to Belgium, visit Bruges. Bruges is beautiful. And Bruges is the one you got to take your lady to Bruges. Bruges is like just this charming. Uh, you're going back in time 600 years if you go to Bruges. It's gorgeous. So go to Bruges. April. So yeah, late summer in Cooperstown. Because you say you're gonna be down and out soon. What does that mean, down and out? Are you like not gonna be coming to even games here, or what's going on, cuz? We need you here at our ball games, brother. Yep, awesome coffee shops in Belgium. Belgians make the best chocolate as well. Shitty roads though in Belgium. Shitty roads, especially when you get on the French side. The French side is porter, a little bit more or a little less money there. Oh, you have some surgery scheduled. Yikes. Gonna miss you here, man. So late summer sounds good. That sounds good. So Aaron Reed doing the 19. Aaron, you said I think 1994. Okay. Cincinnati has a 63 and 39 record going into the 1st of August. Aaron Reed, a big Cincinnati Reds fan, along with Big Clue and Dave Little. So we have three Cincinnati Reds fans. Recovery time will be about a month. I'll be here. That's not going to deter me. Good. All right. Let's shoot for Cooperstown late summer. I'm ready. I am ready. I want to visit there. I want to see the Hall of Fame. I'm going to try to see if I can talk the library into hiring me. I'll shelf books for them and live in a hovel. I don't care if that's what I've got to do. I really would love to work for the library. I think that would be amazing. I told you guys about a friend of mine that was hired there and then had to turn down the job because his wife was pregnant. Go figure. Um, Boy didn't have his priorities straight. But basically, the job description was 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, right? And you were taking incoming calls and answering research questions, and that is right up my alley. Not only for baseball, but I've worked in academic library, doing deep research and all that kind of stuff. And but I don't see that the library is hiring at the Baseball Hall of Fame. So, unfortunately, that'd be my that would be my dream job, even above being a professional, like a full-time sleight of hand artist or full-time musician. My dream job would be to work for the Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum, but that tain't happening unless somebody can put in a good word for me to John Thorne or somebody. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know who the librarian is there, but if anybody knows anybody there, I have a hell of a resume. They'd be quite happy to work for two Big Ten schools, Penn State and the University of Michigan, and all that. But I'm sure whoever the librarians are and research assistants to the Hall of Fame, they're not about to. I'm sure there's not a high turnover there in bucolic Cooperstown, New York. So Clinton Park says that cousin Ken is getting his head examined. So he said I'll have to cover Newport golf games himself. Won't be any decent sports writers available. So Clinton Park's going to be putting on his journalist hat. So Robbie's been watching March Madness. Robbie, what else? Are you doing any gaming of any type? Like just just general gaming, whatever, baseball or other sports or whatever. What you been up to, dude? I forgot that it's March Madness. Well, I didn't forget. I just yeah. Mhm. Aaron says that his cousin said he was gonna look into getting him a USB DVD drive for your laptop. Gonna be able to start spending more time with him since he and his partner move closer. That will be really good because um, if they're willing to help you with that, baseball for Windows is going to be a little bit more like I said, man, it's just a little bit more of a challenge with this modular nature, but it's worth it. Okay, so Robbie says he bought a pro basketball game today. Cool, Robbie. There's a lot of hoops fans in here. Ken asking you if you have another project. There's some hoops fans here, Robbie. So that's cool. Good for Robbie. And Clinton asking, I presume this is a basketball question, which I cannot answer, but he wants to know how many of you have Princeton and Furman in your bracket. So wait for the answers to tumble in on that one. I don't even know who's. I have no idea. Like I said, I worked for two schools and worked for two different schools, went to two different schools, and didn't pay attention to it back then either. Waited for baseball season for both of them. Aaron says he likes college basketball, but he loved playing NBA Jam growing up. Aaron says if I can figure out Action PC baseball, I can figure out baseball for Windows. Yeah, it'll take more time. No, you will get it. I don't doubt that, Aaron. A number 16 team beat a number 2 team in the first round. Oh, so Robbie Wartburg saying this new basketball game is one that Ken might like because it has cheerleaders in it. Wow, I think we should all go to Robbie's house and watch cheerleaders. Cousin Ken says he covered enough college basketball in his days, he can do without it. Clinton says he prefers college baseball. Get rid of the aluminum bats. So what's the deal? What is it? Who's that? Edwin Diaz for the Mets was hurt, celebrating a U.S. victory. So questionable how he's going to be for the actual Major League season, which starts in. Holy shit! Can you believe it? We're like what 2 weeks from the start of the 2023 baseball season. Todd B says that he loves Action PC basketball, a 30 for 30 league going. I know Steve Tate has some files for that game as well. Oh, so Diaz is out for the year. So that's the scuttlebutt I got. He was celebrating and was hurt or something, and he's out. What the hell did he do to get hurt that badly to be out for the year? What did he do? I mean, that's some serious hardcore beyond an Irishman on St. Patrick's Day celebrating if you're out for an entire season. Damn. So I know Robert, RGL Network, is a huge Mets fan, and he's like, I'm so angry at how Robert, he's got that voice, man, that booming voice, which I cannot imitate. He said, I'm just so angry at the World Baseball Classic right now, and Diaz is out, and then he said, but I won't talk about that in this broadcast. So, oh yeah, speaking of which, guys, so tomorrow night, if you're interested, I think it's 7:30, so it'll be before anything we do here. Baseball demos, David Baseball demos is going to be doing I don't know if it's, I guess, a live broadcast where he's going to be asking people to select the season he does as he starts to ramp up his, that thing he does NBC Game of the Week every Saturday. He does a baseball broadcast. So uh, David is a good guy, real good guy in the community. So do check that out. I believe it's 7:30 Eastern tomorrow evening. Oh, ouch. Okay, I can see why he's a torn patella tendon in the knee. Ah. Clinton says he needs a good online score sheet for PC basketball, and then he'll have a serious chat with Brian Y about status pro basketball. So, guys, talk some basketball. We'll hang out for a few more minutes. I don't know a lot about it, but I'd like to sort of watch and learn. As a kid, we used to play like we didn't play like we did the one-on-one stuff. We played what was that game? I think it's called Horse or something. And you had to like go around and make shots like at the top of the key and all that kind of stuff. But that's as far as I ever got with basketball. Interesting game. It's an interesting game. Stamina takes that game and endurance to play basketball is insane, just like hockey. Absolutely insane. I don't understand. There's a lot about basketball I don't understand. Like, defense rebounds, offensive rebounds. I guess at one time they were two separate stats or something. I don't know. And you shoot this and that and whatever. But it's an interesting game. I think the only thing I think they should do is raise the basket though, because it's 10 feet when James Naismith invented the game. And I mean, holy shit, some of these guys are like huge. So what would happen in basketball if they raised the basket to like even just 12 feet or 11 feet, 1 foot higher? But again, I'm not going to get into it too much because I think everybody else in here knows way more about basketball than I do. So Ken says, in my day, we never knew the CEOs of game companies like you cats do now. We bow to their rigid guidelines, no letter, no calls, etc. Whiners. Robbie also getting the basketball fever. He says he also bought the new Draft Day Sports college basketball game. Cool. Play what you love. Well, to your point, Ken, it just absolutely amazes me that of those two old companies, Strat and Appa, Strat at least like has a YouTube channel and talks about what they're coming out with, and not a peep from Appa, just not a peep from Appa, which really blows me away because in a lot of ways they're the more progressive company. I mean, even though they don't care about baseball for Windows, as we've heard, it's still that was a cutting edge game for its time that still holds up now. I have occasionally in the comments to my videos when I do baseball for Windows, people asking, "Wow, I didn't know this was available or it's still available." Apple not even telling people, right? But then they've got Apple Go. They've got a strong base, obviously since 1951 of cards and dice players, but you don't hear a peep from them. It's almost like they don't want to make money. I don't know. So Aaron is doing a game of Action PC Baseball. 1st August. Cincinnati is playing the Giants at the Stick. Oh, and Robbie says one more he bought was an Aussie Rules coach game on Steam that's really good because you can create fictional leagues anywhere in the world practically. Ken Castro answering says, "Don't send a letter. Don't question our ratings. Just play and shut the up." Hib and Todd says Ken both know what he's saying. Well, I got that sense from both of those companies um, when I wrote each of them. I mean, Strat was worse, but Appa was. Well, the problem with Appa wasn't that they were rude. It took them 3 weeks to answer an email. No cards for you, Todd B. channeling the soup Nazi. Am I allowed to say on YouTube? Yes, I am. And Seinfeld. Yeah, no soup for you. I do remember that. As Ken talks about this bowing and that. I was looking at I think it was Strat's forums or something like that, and people were begging for these particular seasons and kind of kind of saying, "Oh, I imagine these little mousy men saying, you know, ooh, I really hope they release And I'm just pulling one out of my arse here. I really hope they release 1967 this year. I've been waiting for that. It's like, come on, man. They got you by the cajones. Tell them you want it. Get upset. Whatever. It's like, you really hope. Vote with your wallet and don't play the damn game. Go play inside pitch. Go play something else. Go play APA. I don't know. And for APA, you want to answer my emails? I'm not going to buy your product. Don't poke the bear at the APA in a day. Your order will be processed, right? Oh yeah, and Stratomatic. Or was that Stratomatic, right? Was that Strat that did that at that $150 for the special black cards this year? Ken keeps warning you about APA, Robbie. I learned my lesson about those guys. I love baseball for Windows, but that doesn't mean I love APA. They're a pain in the ass to deal with too. Ken says seriously, Todd, they would lose your like quote unquote lose your order. John says a few years ago, someone at Stratomatic actually answered his email quite well. Must have caught them on a good day. So, I mean, John, I think Stratomatic makes a great cards and dice game. I really do. I'm not knocking. Anytime I'm slamming it's Strat, it's not the game. It is not the game. It's the business, and it's the same with Appa. Black cards from Strat, they sold out. Holy shit! They must have taken a page from Magic the Gathering. I know. I think I might be the only Magic the Gathering player here, or still follows it. I play digitally now on a program called Forge, which I'm going to show on my new channel. But they did something this year that they reprinted these cards, like all these legendary cards from Magic the Gathering. And among them were the Power Nine. So if you played Magic the Gathering, you know it's the Black Lotus, the Mox Diamond, Ruby, Emerald, Pearl, etc., Time Walk, all that stuff. But the backs they put on the cards, um, completely different. So you can't put them in the deck unless it's sleeved. But those cards are not legal in any sort of tournament. You can only use them in casual play. And they sold them for $1,200, and it bombed. It actually bombed. It pissed off a lot of people because they were coming out saying, "Yeah, we're good. Just for this one time only, you guys will be able to have a Black Lotus and all the Moxes and stuff like that." So Strat doing a little bit of Magic the Gathering shenanigans, it seems. Agreed. Strat cards and dice and Strat PC. Well, I'll agree with you on Strat cards and dice. I think Strat cards and dice is fun. Ken says that more people work at Strat than APA. Yes, Robbie, that is true. So Magic the Gathering is kind of expanding its multiverses, if you will. In a weird move, they've brought in or bringing in Warhammer, but it's Warhammer 40,000, not Warhammer Fantasy, which is a bizarre. But yeah, later in the year, Lord of the Rings is coming to Magic the Gathering. Dungeons and Dragons is already in it. Todd B said if sites, and again, I'm bad with German names, so I don't know if it's seats or sites. I'm going to say sites. He says if sites was mad at you, he sent cards with real corners, not rounded. Appa is the owner and two part-timers. World Source Gamer says when companies lose creativity due to multiverse and so on. Well, let's face it, Robbie, back to just your point really quickly. I mean, the people that own the rights to Lord of the Rings, and I mean the Tolkien estate's part of that. Magic the Gathering has been the biggest, and it's an excellent game. I think that Magazine Games actually rated it like it's game of the year. It's a brilliant game, but it's also the most successful, and they're going to make money. They want to make money. Why not? There's going to be new Lord of the Rings movies coming out, by the way. They've signed a deal, so why not? I guess you're going to make money. You can make more money than Appa and Strat a million times over. So, yep, Lord of the Rings coming to Magic the Gathering. Yeah, I don't know why Warhammer 40K. I don't know. Ken says, ironically, his Appa orders are lightning fast. That's because Ken Castro's got the Portuguese mafia involved. That's what I think is going on. Nobody's going to mess with Cousin Ken. Well, gents, I hope you're looking forward to some of the projects that we have coming up on this channel, baseball related stuff. We haven't forgotten our 1962 Mets with the 4 Negro League players in it, by the way. I want to set lineups for that all the way to make sure those guys get playing time, obviously, and I might be able to track down the sliding Billy Hamilton thing by doing it in there and see what kind of impact Josh, Satchel, Cyclone, Joe Williams, and Cool Papa Bell have on the hapless 1962 Mets. So we'll do a couple of those here and there, and I'm going to sim out most of that season, though. All right. Todd B., as I said, I put in a thing in a Discord. Hopefully, guys, jump on the Discord if you would, please, and kind of talking about Todd's idea for this really cool draft, and he talked about it last night. So quickly to reiterate that a random year will be generated essentially, and then you get to pick a player from that year, and then it goes on to the next round, so on. If that year comes up 3 times in the draft, doesn't not 3 times per person, but just 3 times total, then that year is knocked out. So I like it, and it's all of baseball history, and everybody in here last night seemed to really like the idea as well. I mean, I think it's great. So if you have any comments or any things you want to add, let Todd know or whatever, or just you want to have a little chin wag about it in the Discord. I put an announcement up there, and I don't know what channel we'll put it in, but just put it somewhere. People will see it, till we can get John to maybe create a channel for something like that if we can. Oh man, that's it. I'm going to Ken Castro's, man. He's making a great Neapolitan dish. Aglio and olio per la famiglia. Naples, Naples, Naples. Napoli. Don't fear Rome, the serpent lies coiled in Naples. That is an old Italian saying. And it's true, man. Naples is a crazy city, dangerous city. Run by the actually 2 competing crime groups in Napoli. The Camorra and the 'Ndrangheta. Both badasses. And the 'Ndrangheta is actually even more brutal than the Russian mob. Those guys are bad news. So they're up, and they started in Calabria, but now they're up into Naples, and the Camorra has been a stronghold of Naples. And there's areas of Napoli that the Carabinieri won't even go. Yep, Pib's going too. Pib's going too. Well, Robbie, you're in Texas. We don't expect you to know all the pastas. I mean, how many Italians are in Texas? I mean, honest to goodness, can speak a little bit of the language, Italians, right? So we're gonna get you Italianed up there, Robbie. Italian food is well, superb, isn't it? Ken Castro says, I don't like that Naples has almost every beautiful building tagged. Yeah. It's Italy's weird. Italy's such a weird country. Yep, 2/3. Clinton Park says when he was in the Navy, 2/3 of Naples was off limits. Yeah, we should all go to Ken's tomorrow. Ken, are you ready? We're on our way. I'm leaving right now. Leaving right now. Yeah, Naples is not a city you want to visit, and the Italian side of my Italian side, my family's descended from um, royalty and all that, and one of the main thoroughfares is named after my family. But that still isn't enough for me to visit that city. I don't really want to visit Italy at all, but if I did, I would actually go down further, way, way, way south. Go down to like Bari. I'd like to visit Bari, perhaps, and then pop over to Sicily, hang out in Syracuse and Palermo. But not really. Italy just doesn't. My ex, she and her family, they would always go to Lago Maggiore in the north. Her family's from Milano, and they go to Venezia, Firenze, sorry, Venice, Florida, whatever, Venice and Florence. But Italy, we have great wine. I love the food, the most beautiful language in the world. But it's not a country that I have a burning desire to visit. Drop me off in Ireland and Scotland, and I'll be happy. Mariano. Palermo is hot. We've got when you have the weather. Not only, I mean, it's just so hot there in the Mediterranean, but then you get those winds coming off from North Africa across Sicily. It's a hot country. So Ken says when he lived there for a summer, they were 40 miles from Venice in the Dolomites. Russia. I'd love to visit Russia. Oh, Pib says his dad is from Bari. So the Orthodox Church, big thanks to Bari who returned the relics of Saint Nicholas. So Bari, I've heard, is a very very cool city. Um, how did we get to? But yeah, Russia would be amazing to see. But not until those bastards get out of Ukraine. Just my opinion. But I've always wanted to visit Russia. And Aaron's girlfriend is Russian. So mine's half Jamaican and half Cuban. So, and she's like, "Oh, we have to go to Jamaica." I'm like, "Okay, we'll go to Jamaica." But I said, now that I've also made you sort of Irish, we have to go to Ireland. So, but you know the way it's going. I'm going to end up in Jamaica before she ends up in Ireland. But Jamaica will be all right. Cuba, who knows? No, we can't go there. She's right. Cuba can't really do Cuba. So Aaron, his girlfriend is Russian. Nice. Aaron, let me give you a tip about Russians, buddy. I learned this. So when I converted to Eastern Orthodoxy some years ago, so the Russians have and it doesn't have to just do with Pascha, or what you call Easter, we call Pascha with Pascha, Pascha, the original name for Easter. But the Russians have a tradition that when you open a bottle of vodka, it has to be finished. You can't just, right? So it was my very, very first Pascha, the first, after I converted to the Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox Church, and the priest, I come down there and gives me a shot of Shwika, which is a Romanian liquor that will kick your ass, and then I'm doing fine, right? And had a couple shots of whiskey, doing fine. I could hold my liquor, man. Ate, had everything, and I'm doing well. And there's a bunch of old Russian grandmas there in the church basement, and So I went over, and so when you and so during Pascha, you say the Paschal greeting is, one person says Christ is risen, and then the other person answers, indeed he is risen, or verily he is risen. But you say it in different languages. So I went over to them and I said, Christos voskrese. So you say it in Russian, and they answered, Vostino voskrese. I started walking away, right? And they said, yeah, have a drink. So I'm thinking, okay. So I want a bottle of vodka, and Russian vodka is not really that good. It really isn't, but it kick your ass. So they poured a glass, right? And it wasn't just like a shot of vodka. It was like like one of the styrofoam coffee cups. I'm thinking I'm gonna be able to, I'm gonna have a couple shots with these old ladies, and they're gonna get all drunk and everything. Oh my God. Holy moly, man. So we did that, right? Nostrovnia, right? Bam. And then, yet, and they poured more. Dude, I was never so messed up in my life. Do not drink with old Russian grandmas. Whew. Oh my God. Russian, Russian grandmas, buddy. They'll drink anybody under the table. I don't care who you are. And they're just like, so then so what we do in the Orthodox Church is we have a service on Bright Monday, the day after Easter. That's what week's called Bright Week. And so you're supposed to feast. No fasting is allowed, anything. And so I show up to church, and in most of our services, you stand. So we don't do, like the aerobics like the Anglicans and Catholics. We mostly stand. And I'm like, man, like the church is spinning, and I know I'm waving. I'm looking over at these old babushkas, and they're just standing there like it's just a Sunday morning or whatever. And they're absolutely fine. Boy, was I put to shame. So don't drink with old Russian grandmas. If your girlfriend has a grandma and she's from Russia, don't drink with her. I know you said I don't think you drink anyhow. Don't start, not with them. Oh my God. In fact, just talking about that, my room is starting to spin. I will never forget. It's my first Easter as an Eastern Orthodox Christian, and oh my God, never again. So when I moved out of there and went to another parish, hung out with the Antiochians, and they definitely don't know how to party like the Russians, but at least I came out of there not drunk. That says something. The drunkest I've ever been in my life was in a church basement in the Eastern Orthodox Church. In the Orthodox Church in America, which is a autocephalous or autocephalous sort of, right, used to be Russian Orthodox Church, but it's the OCA. God. Grappa will kick your ass big time. Grappa. Oof. That's some Italian death right there, buddy. Um, Clinton saying the finest wine in the world, Sicilian black wine. Vino Negro, Sicilia, right? Sicilia. I hate ouzo. Oh my God! But that being said, I also hate anisette. So not a fan of ouzo. So Clinton, do you like retsina? Because you mentioned ouzo, so if we're talking Greek. Do you like retsina? So we're way off baseball now. Grappa. Grappa's strong stuff, man. Oof. You only had ouzo in your younger days. Okay. I was just curious if you ever tried retsina at all, which is another Greek kick your ass thing. Oh, so Clinton hasn't had a drop since 1970. Good on you, Clinton. Good on you. Good on you. So, all right, guys. Anyhow, I guess we're gonna hear because the more Robbie reads this, he's just gonna get drunk reading it, and we gotta mind whatever grappa is. Grappa, it's a singular. Um, so we'll have to talk about grappa another night, or Ken can let you know in the Discord what grappa is. But yeah, it is. It's There's not really an appetizing way to describe grappa. So, Robbie, I don't know if I don't even know if you've ever had like any alcoholic drinks, but don't make grappa your first. If you ever do decide to have a taste here and there, don't start with grappa. Beer. Well, what beer are you talking about, man? No, piss is fine. Relax, dude. What? It's basically it is Italian moonshine. Grappa is yeah. All beer, even stouts, even stouts. Because I'll tell you what, man, I'll give you a Belgian stout that is not piss, buddy, and it is so rich, it's so good, and oh, so he says after having liquor he can't stand beer. Okay, fair enough. I don't like ales, like pale beers and stuff. I drink stouts. Looks benign. Well, what else looks benign? Tequila. And I've sworn off tequila, buddy. Oof. So no more tequila for me. I can hold my liquor, but tequila just kicks my ass. I don't like tequila because every other thing I drink, I can gauge. It's like okay, I've had enough. But tequila, man, you're just like sitting there, and all of a sudden, bam, the world's upside down, and you sometimes wake up with people you shouldn't wake up with, and I don't like tequila for that reason because it is it's like just pounces on you and that's it. So Ken is a Pilsner man. Still like you, Ken. It's all right. Stick to Mr. Pibb. Everybody telling. Okay, Robbie's had beer. Not and don't drink too terribly often. Robbie, I only drink on days that end in Y. So yeah, no, I don't. Every night is an education, isn't it? World's worst gamer says he likes vodka, but it'll be the death of him if he ever touches again. Well then, yeah, we don't want you dying, buddy. So vodka is my weapon. What vodka is one of my weapons of choice. My other one, if I want to get drunk, my other one is Jameson's. Oh, you do have a Guinness in your fridge. Okay, now I'm coming up both for that wonderful Neapolitan dish and since you drink Pilsner, I'll just relieve you of that Guinness, my friend. Nectar of the gods there, pal. That's funny. Robbie says, that's funny, Pib telling me to stick to Mr. Pibb. Stick to, yeah, Robbie. Nothing sinful about alcohol, though. I mean, they didn't have grape juice back in Jesus' day. They drank wine, man. Wine, water, and beer. And in fact, among the ancient Egyptians, beer was like the posh drink. Wine was the everyday drink. Beer was like special occasions and for those who had the gold or the riches or whatever. Beer was the big thing in Egypt, ancient Egypt. Good stuff. Guinness and sweet pasta. How can you go wrong? You can't. You can't. And can by that way I can both celebrate my Irish and Italian heritage. See that? So, what time shall I be in Providence tomorrow? I'll hire a Learjet and I'll be there. Oh my God, Boone's Farm, Thunderbird. Add one more. Clinton Parks. How about this one, buddy? Mad Dog 2020, right from Mogan David. I man, that it's a rite of passage to drink Mad Dog and Thunderbird. Wild Irish Rose, I believe, is another one. And you have a Boone's Farm. Yeah, those things. Dude, when you're a teenager, you do Mad Dog 2020, and because we're like a bunch of We're a bunch of drunks in here. We are so degenerate. Oh my God. We're all, and I am included. I include myself, man. We're a bunch of degenerates here. Robbie, you talk about you're innocent. You're hanging out in the most. We're like this sort of. So I guess to compare the two. So our Red Sox fan would be like having a nice aperitif at the Four Seasons, let's say, right? This place, you're in some dive in Shanghai, pal. Oh my God. So Robbie, you're worried about your innocence. You should be hanging out more in Al's chat than this one. But we want you to stay here anyhow, because I'm the one that's gonna find you that blonde chick, not Al. So degenerate, yes. Drunk, no. Still perverted, dirty old man, and a deviant. Yeah. Well, again, I mean, yeah, that's. I think it's part of the membership here, isn't it? That is part of the membership. Dirty young man, dirty old man, dirty middle-aged man, whatever. Ken Castro saying, "You Clinton, degenerate, drunk? No way. If you're good at something, keep going." There is truth to that. There is definitely truth to that. Which is why I'll be drinking lots of Guinness this weekend. Because I'm very good at drinking Guinness. I'm very good at drinking Guinness. So, all right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow night. Hopefully, doubleheader. Well, she does exist, Robbie. She existed in my head, and now she exists um, in, in visual form. So she does exist. We will find her. Clinton says 4 stents and a triple bypass. He's still alive. And God grant you many more years, Clinton. Salty as you are, dude. We want you around, man. So valued and such a good friend and one of the folk I look up to. Even though I'm probably taller than you, but still. That being said, my thanks to all of you guys. So to Clinton Parks, to Cousin Ken Castro, to World's Worst Gamer, who should really get his wrench back, but he didn't want it, but it's always there. Paisano, Pib99, buonanotte. Um, Robert Woodberg, welcome back to the fold, my friend. We missed ya. To Aaron Reed and good crack. He's here in the Commonwealth of PA, probably just about 15 miles from where I'm sitting. Todd B. John DFW, again, big thanks to him for creating our Discord, which we will continue to use and all that kind of fun stuff. And tonight has been pretty much the usual suspects in the club, as it were. So, and that's as far back as I can go. See everybody next. Arnold Hunter. I did. Um, did you as cousin Ken is hitting me with some 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 Portuguese. Oh my God, my Portuguese is so bad. Voci. Oh my God. I so I have to get that translated. Arnold, did you send that to me today, or was this the one that you sent a while ago, or which one? Because I thought I answered one. I will look in the Discord, Arnold, and I will answer you. I promise. And yes, Robbie, I will DM you what need if we could kindly ask John to set up in the Discord. All right, guys. Buona fortuna. Slancia. Um, and I forget how to say it in Dutch. So anyhow, good night, everybody. And till next time, see you around the batting cage. And Arnold, I will check Discord tomorrow for that. All right, everybody, yep, be safe, as Cousin Ken says, and see you around the batting cage.